What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. And Shawn, I have to be slightly quiet. I have to be a little quiet because my wife is in the next room.
Oh,
and I don't
Richard.
want her to hear about the show we're doing.
I know, right? So, Richard, it is that time
just because,
of year.
Wait. Just because I'm quiet doesn't mean you have to be quiet.
Oh, I forgot we're in different rooms. So, Richard, we are about to celebrate St. Valentine's Day. It's Day of Love. You give out cards, hearts, diamond rings. And usually, I think last year we did a rom-com draft.
We did.
And I think every year around this time we always confess our love for each other. And we thought this would be a ripe time for us to talk about the loved ones in our lives, the women that stand by us for some reason.
Yeah.
And
we figure we're we've professed our love to each other for 4 years. I guess we'll give them one.
And I'm just going to say, this is a little scientific experiment on Richard and I's part, because we're going to put this episode out without telling our wives and see if they notice. It might be 30 years from now. They might actually listen.
They're going to be like, why do you have wives in the title of this episode? Oh God, is this some story about wives that murder their husbands? Because I'm thinking about it.
Oh, wait. Maybe this will give us an idea.
Go
Richard,
on.
We don't really have too much to, I guess, we're not going off any script or anything like that or any kind of bullet points, but I thought it would just be a good time to kind of talk about our wives, maybe ask each other questions. And I'll cue you up first. So I know very little about the beginning story of you and your wife. So take me to, there's a couple of moments I want you to tell me. So take me to the very first moment you saw your wife.
Okay, the very first moment. There was, let's see. Okay, so I was, how old was I at the time? I was 16. I was 16 years old, Shawn. No, I wasn't. I was 15. I was 15 years old.
You couldn't drive a car?
Couldn't drive a car.
Richard, your hormones, I'm sure, were just raging.
They were on fire, my son. They were on fire. It was, what a time to be alive. So I was 15 and I was working as a dishwasher. I was a dishwasher at, it was this mom and pop restaurant. It's not even around anymore, but I was working as a dishwasher at this mom and pop restaurant, and I walk out in the dining room, and she had just been hired. Also 15. She's also 15 at the time. She'd just been hired as a hostess. Okay.
So were you just working a shift? So I've washed dishes. I think the restaurant we worked at, I washed dishes maybe once or a week or once every other week because you got tipped out the place we worked.
Yeah, no, not here. This was minimum wage. This is,
yeah. So did you walk out after a shift covered with the grossness that you get from?
It was during a shift.
So you walk out, you see her. Is she working at this point, or is she just getting hired?
She had gotten hired, and so this was I think it was her first day.
Okay.
No,
so did you see her?
Maybe not her first day, but it was within her first week.
Okay. Set the stage for us. So what kind of restaurant was this? Was it just kind of sports bar? Was it
No,
pizza?
it was not a sports bar. It was one of those kind of family style kind of dinery kind of restaurants. Not really so much a diner though, because the I guess the best way I could describe it is, you ever go and see your grandparents? And your grandparents are like, hey, let's go out to lunch, or let me take you out to lunch. And your grandparents take you to this place that's been around for 80 gajillion fucking years, and they haven't changed the decor since 1974.
Yeah,
and there's plates on the wall. There's a shelf with knickknacks on the shelf, and that's attached to the wall. And there's this really dark colored wallpaper, and there's lights and carpet there's carpet all over the floor.
They serve lasagna and meatloaf and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. It's meatloaf and a lot of fried stuff. This place was breakfast all day.
They have a buffet, which is one buffet table that they serve salad
with
pretty much their buffet
with salad and some dressings.
Yeah, and then made right meat.
Yeah.
And it doubles as the taco meat. Yeah.
Yeah. It was that kind of place. And so picture that. So that's the dining room, okay? So I walk out into the dining room to collect dishes because all the dishes were in one set area.
Did you like grab a bunch more? You'd be like, hey, look at this manly man here carrying 12. Oh crap, I dropped them.
No, it was like a tub. And so I grab the tub of dishes and I walk back and I see her and she's way up at the other end of the store and she's up by the hostess stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So picture 15-year-old me looking at 15-year-old her. Now let me set the stage for the way 15-year-old her looks, okay? This is like not at all long. I would say like maybe shoulder length dark hair. Okay.
Would this have been like 2001?
No, this would have been 98.
Okay.
So shoulder length hair, very fair skin. Now, keep in mind, I do have a thing for goth chicks at this point.
That was very emo, like
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Smashing Pumpkins, like like that's what you saw in your head,
right? But saying that, I will say like that she didn't look like that. Oh God, I'm fucking butchering this. She's gonna listen to this and be like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" Anyway, so shoulder length dark hair.
I mean, I'm not saying like she never saw the sun, but she probably never saw the sun.
But the one thing that I was like, oh, was she had her nose pierced.
No, nose piercings are not my thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, quick story on that. Like in college, my sister and I went to the same college. And she's like, "Oh, Shawn, me and my roommate have a surprise. You know, I had something to show you or whatever." And she comes in and she had her nose pierced. And I think I broke her heart because like I gave like a disgusted look.
What is the matter with? Why are you such a prude?
I like eyebrows, lips, tongue. I do not like nose piercings. I don't know what it is. I've seen some since, like I've come around on the nose piercings, but it's taken me a few years.
Well, she had her nose pierced, and
at 15?
At 15. Funny story. I found out later, Shawn. She did it herself.
I've heard of the girls back then that would do their belly buttons and then they get infected.
Oh yeah. Like that seems like a
belly button.
Yeah, that they just cut it out.
Yeah, they said to take like a hot knife because, well, first off, like it's infected. And they're like, well, we can't tell mom because mom doesn't need to know about this. So they grab that butcher knife and heat it up. Like, we'll just cut it out, right?
Like over the stove. That's what she did. She took a needle and she like got the needle like super hot to like sterilize it or whatever, and then doop in the nose, pierced it herself. Looked good. I thought it looked fine. Didn't get infected.
Oh, nice. I think it's probably the post. If you take care of it, you're probably in better shape there.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, there was no way I would get my belly button. I would like do my belly button myself, even if I wanted
that's
it.
A more sensitive area, and plus, like it's always hidden and probably harder to keep clean.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so shoulder length hair, fair skin, nose piercing, like, and immediately, like, I'm like, that one, like. I went and so I run into the back and I grab my friend at the time, my best friend at the time, and I pull him out front. And I was like, "See that girl?" And I said, "Okay." So I quoted a John Cusack movie, actually. I can't remember which one though. I can't remember if it was better
to her or your friend.
To my friend. It was. Okay. I can't remember. I might have been Better Off Dead.
You're like, Steve, I just can't hardly wait.
No, it was a John Cusack movie. I want to say it was Better Off Dead, where John Cusack looks at a woman, looks at a girl, and it's like his like dream girl or whatever, and he looks over to his best friend and he's like, "I want to marry her and have 37 children
in a row."
That's exactly what I said.
So did he go in and kind of drop the hints to her, or
no? He wasn't.
Wingman.
No, well, he wasn't. I didn't really need him to be my wingman. I was like, I got this.
I was like, he should have like walked in and be like, "Hey, did you see that dishwasher carrying all those heavy dishes? He's a pretty strong man. He's probably got a strong seed."
See, this is why you were not my wingman at the time. So So I don't know if you know this, Shawn, but despite my bravado on a microphone, I was kind of shy at the time.
You've got good charisma. I've been out and about with you, and I don't know, is that something that's come with age? Because I didn't know 15-year-old Richard.
Yes, very much so. 15
I knew. How old were you when we met? It was in 2004. Were you 24-year-old Richard? 23-year-old Richard?
2004, I was 22.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 22. No, 15-year-old me was very... I don't know, shy is not the right word, but I was very reserved.
And this is a tough, like you think about like 98, instant messenger was kind of a thing, but not really.
I mean, I knew about, I had ICQ, which was.
Well, no, I'm just thinking yeah, but you had you would have had to made some kind of like face-to-face conversation to get that.
Oh, definitely.
Because, there wasn't texting, there wasn't Facebook,
no,
there wasn't Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
No, there were none of those things.
Today, to kind of get kind of in the DMs, if you will, is a lot easier than back then. Like you had to make face-to-face contact.
Yeah, you
had to go up and potentially get
present you had to go up and present yourself like a
peacock.
Like a peacock, exactly.
Jump up there, throw your peacock feathers out, and go. Caw,
yeah. So I did that, and then she's like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" And I was like,
where'd you get those feathers? Did you kill a peacock? That's so metal." Well, I thought you'd like it because you had your nose pierced.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, and the rest is history. God damn it! No, so here's what I did. You ready for this? So I asked her out. I was, threw it all out on the table. I think you're super cute. I think you're
jumping ahead. So did you ask her out that night or later?
I think maybe the next day or maybe a couple days after.
Relatively quickly.
Relatively quickly. I got up the gumption, the nerve, the chutzpah to ask her out.
Dude, at 15, that's pretty ballsy. I remember because you and I, our tales of love are completely different. So I mean, me at 15, that's a huge step for a kid to be like, "Hey, I want to take you out on a date."
Well, that's the thing and I didn't really think about this until you said it. We did not live in an era of Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I mean, fuck, we didn't even have cell phones.
No, yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because today, if you're like, I wonder if this girl would be into me, Facebook her, and if she doesn't reply back in 10 minutes, you're like, nope, she's fucking. Or not even that.
Dude. You could scan around and be like, well, is she with somebody? Who are these? Yeah, she's got all these pictures with a dude. She's got all these pictures with another dude. That must be your boyfriend, or
you can't social media stuff because there's nothing worse than walking up and talking to somebody and find out they have a boyfriend. Especially because. I read something a while back that said guys read into conversations a lot quicker than girls do. In the sense of oh my God, I think it's probably just because guys are oh my God, they're talking to me, so they must like me.
Oh, they're so into me because they said my name.
So you walk by and she's like, "Hi, Steve." Oh my God, she almost got it right.
I am so in this.
But no, it's a good point. You could walk up, you could be like, "Hey, what's going on?" and have that what you feel like is flirtation. And she's just being nice, and you'd be like, "So, hey, what are you doing Friday night?" And she's like, hanging out with my boyfriend. He plays football, college football.
With other college guys. And then we're going to the frat. And then you're like, oh, you're going to get a train run on you.
But you went up, again, I'm just setting the stage for this era. Because I think today, people think because I kind of had that a little bit when I was younger. But me and my wife's relationship was definitely kind of more in the social media realm. Yeah. So even thinking about back then, it's completely different. I mean, today, a lot of stuff happens so quick. You Facebook them, they Facebook you back. You kind of, social media stalk them a little bit to be like, oh, okay, they're single, they're taken. And then you're kind of oh, hey, Friday, let's do something. Back then, it was you drop a note. It may be a week, maybe 2 weeks, it may be a month before you even know if anything's going to happen.
Yeah. And now but see, so in my time, it was you walk up and basically lay it out. You are essentially putting yourself on display and being you like this?
You want to give this a shot?
Yeah.
At least a date, movie, dinner, it'd be on me.
And you know where
So-
the power is in their hands, Sean.
Yeah, it is. Well, so walk me through that. So you decide
Like
a couple days after
like
you first
Caesar,
see her.
like Caesar sitting at the Colosseum, the one that gives the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
Yeah, that's true. So walk me through that. So you see her, one day when you're there, you tell your buddy about, you want to have 37 kids with her.
Yeah,
And then a couple days later, you decide, okay, I'm going to ask her out.
I'm gonna ask her out.
Walk me through that. How'd that go?
So I walk up to her and I say, "Hey, think you're pretty nice. You seem well. I mean,
This wasn't your first conversation,
no,
right?
that's why I was just gonna say this isn't our first conversation. Like, of course, like you have the first conversation where like you sit and like idle chit chat. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm Richard. Oh, I'm Amanda.
So this is 98. So you're like, so did you listen to that new NSYNC album?
And then she's like, "No, I fucking hate NSYNC," and I'm like, "Me too. They're fucking stupid."
Totally Backstreet Boys here, baby.
Yeah.
She's like, next.
So,
What would you have talked about? What did you guys talk about in 98? Like, what kind of set the seed for like, oh, hey, we've got stuff in common?
it was music. It was mostly music. At that point, it was mostly music.
Was it like Chains or because like my music starts.
It was definitely Alice in Chains was definitely in there. Oh God, what else?
Reba McEntire.
No, but Kid Rock. Kid Rock was definitely in the conversation. I was the one that brought it up because
was Kid Rock 98? I thought he was 2000.
No, because Devil Without a Cause came out in like 97 and I found that album. I discovered that album before anybody else did. I was one of the first people to find that album.
You found that before Ball with a Ball?
I did. I loved that album. I used to listen to it all the time.
Oh, same here. I found it after Ball with a Ball because it was like a TRL big hit because like I said, I didn't really find music until 2000.
The reason I found it is I used to watch Canadian MTV, which was called like Much Music or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And they premiered a totally different song from that album. I think it was I Am the Bull God.
Yeah,
and I was like, that was a pretty nice song. And so I bought the CD because I don't know if you know this, Sean. So this is another thing about 97, 98. If I listened to a song and I was like, I really like that song, then I'd have to go to the music store and I'd have to buy the entire CD.
I mean, kind of a side note, but so Papa Roach just came out with their new album. And I was thinking about this because about 2007, 2008, I kind of stopped buying like actual physical discs because you can get it on iTunes or Spotify. And so, but back in the day, you'd have to go into Sam Goody or wherever you go, like FYI, I think it's called now. You'd be like, hey, I want to reserve this album that comes out on this day.
And not just that, you got to put down like $20 for a whole fucking CD. And what happens if you get that CD and there's that one song you like and all the rest is shit?
Yeah,
you just paid $20 for a whole CD of shit and one song that you are probably going to get sick of.
I pulled out my big CD case like 2 days ago because the new Papa Roach album I really
see now this whole conversation is just making me feel old.
Well, yeah, but I mean it was a great like I've seen like people show like back in the day this is how you found music like sifting through your CD case.
That is true.
One thing I noticed is going through mine, I'm missing a lot of CDs. So somebody stole a shit ton of my CDs.
I had all my CDs stolen way later. It was like $1,500 worth of CDs. I think I had like at least 40 to 50 CDs in that case. You think $20 a piece, like that's $1,000 pretty easy. Yeah.
But did you ever put the sticker on your CD case?
No. Wait a minute.
I was always a big fan of like the like funny stickers you could buy at like Sam Goody.
No, I never did that.
What's the hobby store thing that's goth now?
Spencer's?
Spencer's. You go to Spencer's, they have like stickers. The first one I ever got was I think it was like 68 and I owe you one.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I get it.
And then my other one that I saw.
That's so clever.
Yeah. And I put it right in front of Tiffany. It says sex instructor. First lessons free.
Oh. Are you the instructor?
I mean, it never worked for me. Well, there was one girl that was like, well, I'll take that first lesson. And of course, I was like 16. I was like, no. So you guys kind of got
get off my no place.
Oh, was that sex? I think I just sexed in my pants.
And she's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah. Did you sex in your pants? No, I didn't.
No,
actually,
I didn't. That was supposed to be your job. So, see you in a week.
But I'd asked for a refund, but it was free, and I'm glad it was.
I brought this on myself. You get what you pay for. Am I right?
So you guys kind of start, meeting over music and stuff like that. So when do you actually
at this point it was like all of our conversations involved music. It seemed like that's like music's where we were both of us really connected. She was really into music, and so was I at the time. Like we both would collect like CDs en masse. And
was this like after work, like eating dinner type stuff, where you kind of like sitting at a booth? That's the way I'm envisioning it.
No. This is us sitting out back, like having a cigarette. That was the other thing because we were both smokers.
Oh, I gotcha.
And also,
you were supposed to smoke when you were under 18.
Shawn, this is '98. It's the Wild West. I could sit out back and smoke a cigarette, and people would be like, "Where'd you get those?" And then you're like, "None of your fucking business."
Bought them from a homeless man. So you guys smoking cigarettes, chit chatting, and so walk me through, chat me up, if you will, about how you asked her on that first date.
Honestly, I don't remember specifically what I said, but knowing me, it was somewhere in the gist of, hey, do you want to go see a movie on, this is playing. Do you want to go see a movie? And then we can like, grab like a milkshake or coffee or something like that after.
Which I don't know what the generations do now. But like back then, it was like, hey, you want to get pizza? Like in the town we're from too. It's like, hey,
you want to get food? You want to go see a movie?
Yeah, that's all there was really to do.
Shawn, I'm in my mid-30s. At this point, I feel like that's all there is to do. The only other added thing is like, hey, you want to go have a drink? Like that got added in my early 20s, and then
at this point, what we do is like, hey, you want to have your mom watch the kid, and we'll go to a coffee shop and sit in silence.
We could just stare at each other and not talk. It'll be great.
So did you guys do dinner and a movie then?
Well, okay, so there it is. I put it out on Front Street, ripped my heart out of my chest and showed it to her and was like, hey, I think you're super cool. Let's go to a movie. And
she say, Richard, I like you as a friend, maybe even a brother, but I'm a lesbian.
She did not friend zone me, but I did get a hard no.
Oh, seriously?
I did.
Damn. Was it like quick? So
yes.
I want to know exactly how it was.
It was fairly quick.
Ouch. I've had that happen a couple times, and it hurts.
It was quick enough. It was quick enough that I could tell that, it had been
God.
It had been considered before I even asked.
Oh man, Richard.
Yeah.
Those are some teenage painful years that you can't I can feel those feelings right now because I've had them. And it's like you feel so small and you're like, I just if lightning could hit me right now, or I could just get hit by a train. I know there's no train tracks anywhere, but if one could just hit me right now,
yeah,
I would be in a better state than I am right now. So she said hard no.
Yeah, hard no. Hard no. Did I take that line down, Shawn?
Did you tear up?
Did I take that no for an answer?
I mean, you're married now, so either this is a hostage situation or things.
That's why she's never on camera, because that gives her the chance to blink.
I'm always curious whenever I'm with her. She's always blinking in these weird patterns.
Yeah, I don't understand it. No, Shawn. So now, obviously, I'm not. I am so not the guy that's like, well, she said no, but I know what that means. I knew what that meant. I know what no means. So instead,
she
I
didn't
decided.
Laugh at least, did she?
No, did not laugh.
Okay, good.
But I instead, Shawn, I decided to take the. Now, I honestly, if you ask her today why she said no in the first place, I can't remember what the answer to that is.
Does she remember?
I honestly don't know. Like what made it? What? Yeah, I don't know. So here's what I did, Shawn. Some people would take that line down, not me. I went the route of the romantic. I took the high road of romance, Shawn. So I went in the back, and I was like, okay, grand gesture. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do to win this girl, right? Grand gesture, something big. Now in the back, Shawn, we cut our own meat. Okay, so it was like ham and turkey and stuff like that. So sitting next to the meat slicer was this green paper. It was like butcher paper. You know what I mean? It was like they were like big green sheets.
Yeah.
And so also there was a Sharpie. Shawn, the muse came to me.
Oh.
I grabbed that marker.
Richard, what you need to do is draw your dick on this paper and give it to her.
That's exactly what I did. And
she's like, what is this? It looks like a penis, but smaller.
Is this what they're supposed to look like? I don't think this is what they're supposed to look like.
It's supposed to be a heart, but I'm not very good at art.
But I am good at limericks. No, Shawn, I took that pen and I took that paper because I don't know. Okay, so a little bit of background at this point. Okay, so at 15, I had fancied myself as like a budding writer.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Okay, so we've talked about that. So 15-year-old me was like, okay, like play to your strengths. What the fuck are your strengths? You're not attractive. You can't throw a football. You can't.
Like, all right, let's draw my dick on this. Damn it, it's too small.
I'm horrible at art. It's not going to look like a dick. It's going to look like a heart, and then I have to explain that it's actually a dick, and then that's going to be awkward. No, Shawn, I took that pen, I took that Sharpie marker, and I took that green butcher paper, and I wrote a poem. Not just one, but three. I think three. At least two.
Was it one big poem that you said was three, or was it actually three poems?
I can't, let's say two, because I can't remember if it was two or three. But, so I wrote them, okay? Wrote poems. Wrote two, back to back, and signed it with my name.
Do you still
have
Sharpie
those ink? I think I do. Okay, hang on. Break, because I might actually have them.
Oh, God, this is amazing.
I don't think I have them. Or at least I have them, and I have no idea where they are.
Do you remember, even kind of remotely what they're about or anything?
Oh my God, they were fucking horrible. If you're asking me to pull them from memory, if I'm going by my 15-year-old brain, I'm sure it was something along the lines of, "You're amazing, I'm dog shit, and you would make me complete." Something along those lines.
You're amazing, I'm dog shit. If you went to me to a movie, I would go crazy.
I was very self-deprecating is probably too kind a word. I was probably a lot more like, oh, the dark is so dark. I was like that was kind of my mood.
Yeah.
The dark
was so dark until I walked out of this spot.
Yeah.
And the light from your pale skin made me.
Oh my God. You know what? That's probably not too far off. So it was probably something like that. You know what, Shawn? It worked.
Nice. So okay, so let's walk through this. So you guys are chit-chatting, smoking a cigarette. You're like, "Hey, the new Austin Powers movie's out. You want to go see that? Maybe get a bite to eat?" And she's like, "Nope." Like,
yeah.
Fuck. All right. So you write this letter. You give it to her that night.
I give it to her later that day.
Ooh. So you give that to her. You're like, "Hey, girl, read this."
I was like, "I just want you to know that if you want to change your mind, you can call me." Because I can't remember. I might have left my number on him. My home phone.
Yes, I was going to say, and again, to let people know, this is your home number. So when she calls, the odds are it could be your mom, your dad, or one of your siblings that picks up.
Yeah.
Richard, a girl's calling.
There's a girl on the phone. And then you got to take that long-ass phone cord and hurry up and untangle it so you can run up the stairs with it and close the door behind you.
So you give that to her. You say, hey, if you change your mind, just let me know.
Yeah.
Did she say yes that night, or did she call you?
No, she said yes that night.
Nice. So you guys got settled.
I think it was the effort. I think it was the effort that won her over, not necessarily my witty fucking prose.
Yeah. So she says yes. How's the first date then? How's that go?
I went okay. I think I was, if I remember right, I was 15-year-old. If I remember 15-year-old me correctly, I'm sure my hormones were on fire. I'm sure I made passes and tried to take liberties I didn't need to take on a first date.
Are you a kisser on the first date?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not. I don't kiss on the first date.
Not true.
So, what was your first date? What was the movie? What was the dinner? Or what? Like, walk us through that event.
Actually, we ended up not going to a movie. We just did. It wasn't even dinner. We just had like a milkshake, and then we just like talked more for a good chunk of the evening, and then.
Do you remember kind of what you guys talked about or anything like that?
Oh, it was mainly music, but it was also like, general pop culture stuff, a little bit of background, like she informed me her family was crazy, and, that's what every 15-year-old does. And like, my parents are stupid. And I'm like, yeah, my parents are stupid too.
So I know like the town we're from, like there's a lot of little towns around it. So you went to the school that was kind of the bigger town. Did she go to the same school, or did she go to a different school?
Different.
Okay, so you didn't know anything about her. So like you go to school the next day, like she's not there.
Right. Which I also liked. It added this whole like veil of mystery.
Yeah,
had me intrigued. Intrigued.
Yeah. That like high school, like dating like a person from a different school is always kind of like I think I only did it maybe. Well, I guess once. The first girlfriend I ever had, she was homeschooled. So I kind of was in that same boat where it was just kind of weird because like you go to school, like there's this like whole like universe you're involved in, but then there's like this thing outside of that.
Exactly. It's very like, ooh, so mysterious.
Yeah. And then you tell your friends like, no, I've got a girlfriend. She doesn't go here though.
She doesn't go to this school.
She's from Canada. Well, not really Canada, but you know what I'm about.
Funny story. When I was in junior high, I did have a girlfriend from Canada.
Was it an online girlfriend?
It was. Thank you, ICQ.
That doesn't count. Did you ever meet her?
That was ICQ and message boards.
Yeah. Did you ever meet her or him? Like the 40-year-old man that said he was your girlfriend?
No. But we talked on the phone a lot, much to my parents' chagrin, because we ramped the phone bill something stupid.
There was I was like a player on like the online scene because like I'd be like, you want to be my online girlfriend? She'd be like, yeah, sure. I'm like, sweet, we're online girlfriend and boyfriend. Like,
okay. So think like online, like you say online. I say online. When I was in junior high, that's instant messenger and message boards.
I'm thinking like
not even
Yahoo
chat rooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did Yahoo chat rooms work? Was it like could you set up? Was it private rooms that you would set up?
There was private rooms, but then you could do like instant messaging. I think so. Like you could be like, oh, I want to talk to this. So like,
yeah, this didn't even have instant messaging. So so the site I'm talking about, it used to be called the Globe, and it was just a bunch of public rooms, and like everybody could see what you were typing. So, and like I said, it was just a message board. So like it'd be a post and then you'd refresh and then you'd see their post and then you'd type something and then you'd post.
So you'd be like, oh my God, we should meet so you can suck my clock. Oh shit, autocorrect. But no, yeah, it was Yahoo chat rooms. But the thing is like, you'd be like, you meet somebody, talk to them for a night, and be like, oh, we're online boyfriend and girlfriend. Then the next night they wouldn't show up and I'd talk to somebody else and be like, oh, we're online boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, we're online boyfriend. Wait, what?
I did. I've never thought about this until like, I actually probably just told us now, but I did have somebody on a chat room ask about meeting me at the toy store in the mall.
Really?
Yeah. And like at that age, I'm kind of like, well, this seems kind of weird. Like,
are you going? Wait a minute. I know what to do about this. Are you going to buy me toys?
yeah.
Yes.
And so, like,
sold.
I was kind of like, well, maybe I'll be like, oh, meet you at aisle 4, but I'll like peek around aisle 3. I mean, I was a cute boy, so I'm sure somebody had been like, we're stealing that one.
What sort of criminal mastermind could peek? What could break through that fortress of security you constructed? I'll peek around the corner of the aisle.
5 minutes early. Are you Shawn? No, I'm Susan. So the date went well. The first date went pretty well then?
I think so.
So did you guys become like girlfriend and boyfriend that night, or did it take some time?
It took time. It took time.
How long?
And, a couple weeks. I mean, relationships are, the whole boyfriend girlfriend, especially when you're like 15, the whole boyfriend girlfriend thing. It kind of just, oh well, this is let's do this. Okay.
I don't know if it's weirder then or like when you get older, because like I've dealt with it in both, and
I feel like it's less weird then.
I don't know. I mean, so like when I was younger, it was kind of like you basically just like, hey, are we a thing? And it's like, yeah, we're a thing. It's like, oh, okay, sweet. And like one girl, I ended up like slipping my class ring in her hand, and she took it. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. But like when you get older, like you're like, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? And they're like, no, like I don't want to make this Facebook official.
Yeah. Things seem way more It seems like when you're an adult, the potential for things to be way more ambiguous is better, because then it's like, oh well, we're seeing each other, but it's not serious, or
sometimes,
we're open to I'm open to dating other people.
Yeah, but like you think about like if you were that age, it's like, well, I'm gonna like we're not official. If she went out on another date, it's like, okay, like it's probably nothing crazy going on. Like at this age, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go out with a bunch of friends. Like you don't know what can go on. Get drunk.
Yeah.
Have relations. Happens. Not to me, but it happens.
Go out with my friends and have relations.
Yeah. Like, Richard, will you be my... No, Shawn, are you crying? Are you drunk? No.
Yes.
Maybe.
I want to have relations. Nobody says it like that. Stop being weird.
So walk me through then. Do you guys go on more dates before you guys make it quote official, or?
Yeah, a couple more, and then things are official. But even then, like the most we see. Okay, so I was, let's see, so we were 15, but I was turning 16 like 3 months later. Although I didn't get my license until I was 17, but. I had a friend that had a car, and so we would go and pick her up and, drive around and hang out or whatever. And then we'd hang out at work. Once I got my driver's license, then it was a lot of driving. It was a lot of me picking her up after work. After she got done with work, and we drive around and talk, usually just talk and blast music.
Mm-hmm. Was it tapes at that point, or was it actual CDs?
No, it was CDs.
Was it?
We had one of those. We had one of those tape decks, or that like you put the tape in that was connected to like a Walkman or a Discman.
Oh,
sorry.
I gotcha. Yeah. So that's what you used to plug into your car or whatever.
Yeah. So we'd plug the Discman into the car, and then. But it was a lot of like seeing movies and idle chit chat, and then after a few months, then started getting busy.
So I don't know if you want to say this or not. So like, you guys start dating. Is it pretty quick? You guys are getting busy, or is it further down the line?
I don't know. I guess that depends on your definition of fairly quick. I mean. It had been a few months.
Gotcha. Was it magical?
Sure.
It was the greatest 2.5 minutes of her life.
That's right. Thank you for chalking up my normal time.
So you guys are dating. It's official. You're 17. You got your license. I'm assuming you just kind of keep doing the same, driving back and forth. What's the next big thing in your guys' relationship?
Usually getting busy in the car.
Ooh, you guys were a car couple?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that was all we had.
Yeah, I didn't like doing it in the car when I was in high school.
Well, I mean, what other options were there?
I had honestly, Richard. When I look back at
we both had upstairs bedrooms that were directly over the living room.
Yeah, I feel like I had like parents with like the girls I dated, and even my parents didn't really like. It's like, oh well, they got the door closed because they're just sleeping. Like I don't understand why my parents didn't understand what was going on. Either they did and they didn't care.
I think they did and they didn't care, yeah, Shawn. They had to.
It is. Like, why are you guys under the covers?
Wee! That's what they heard, and it was July. You. Laura, why does he make those noises?
Every time. We know when he finishes, he goes, wee, wee, wee! It's not right, Laura.
So, yeah, so we were together for, was it a year? May have been longer. Oh, it was about like 8 months. And the next big development was an upcoming child.
You slipped one past the goalie.
I did.
Richard, did you protect? Did you guys have safe sex?
No, Shawn. I had abstinence only education.
I had pull-out education. It worked for me up to a point. So you slipped one past the goalie. How old were you at this point?
I was 17.
17. Were you a senior, like right about to graduate, or?
I was right at the start of my senior year.
Okay. So you guys, I don't really, I know like vaguely of this, but you guys had your first child during your senior year then?
Yeah. Well, like right at the end. It was like 2 weeks right before graduation.
Okay. And I imagine, like, I mean, you think about that time frame and like the area we're from, like whenever that happens, like some people flip out more than they probably should.
Oh my God, yes.
I imagine that's a pretty tough situation for kids your age. Like how was that for you guys?
It was rough. I will say it was probably rougher on her than it was for me, because like there's a physical slot, like I could just be any Joe Schmo walking down the street.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, when we had our kid, like I don't feel any different until the kid gets here. Like there's 9 months. I'm like, no, I'm still, I'm still
exactly. And then there's all like the bullshit stigmas and everything else, and you got to get through that and get past that. And
do you feel like that made you guys stronger as a couple, or?
Well, at the time, yeah, because then, you're like, well, fuck these people. Like, you're working out of spite at that point. I will say that later on in the relationship, it probably evolved into like a, and when I say later on, I mean years. It was, well, is this what we should have done? Is this, like you have that whole, not really so much, almost like a mid-relationship crisis, I guess, is probably the best way to describe it.
7-year itch kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah,
not really 7-year itch, but
yeah, I could see that. Where you're just kind of like, well, is this what we wanted, or is this what, were we just doing it at a, just to say fuck you to everybody else, or? But yeah,
you had a baby. So parents on both sides, were they kind of, was it difficult in that, or were they supportive, or?
Her parents were supportive. My parents took a second, but they came around. Yeah. And when I say that, when I say took a second, I mean, we're talking a matter of days. Like at first they were very, but then.
I mean, that's a big shock. I mean, that's one thing you're like, well, I want to be a grandparent, but I was hoping you'd, be out of high school. And I mean, that. And again, that was kind of that time frame, I think.
It was.
So you guys have a young one on the way? Do you guys, what's the next
actually,
steps
well,
after that?
we move in together during my senior year. And so I was, still doing school and everything. And we were both doing school, and then we had our own apartment and bills.
During high school or right after high school?
No, during.
That's
I chalk all that. I chalk all that up to her. Like she maintained and kept things in order.
Like up to, was this like before your first kid was here? Or was she still kind of working up to like?
No, this was
it
before.
After the kid or before?
Before.
So she was kind of like, this is how things are going to run, and kind of ran the household. Yes,
very much so. And I was like, oh, sounds good. La 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 la.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
So what's 18-year-old Richard thinking at this point? Like, I mean, you talked about like when you're 15, you wrote these poems. You wanted to have 37 children with this beautiful woman. Hostess.
18 was when I proposed. 18 was when I was like, okay. Well, because I didn't propose until I was like 19, because we had been together. Well, we had been together with a child for a year. We had been together as a couple for over 2 years. And
so you guys got married after.
Oh yeah. Well, because and this is mainly on me, because I wanted the reason that we got married to be because we wanted to, and not just because we had a kid.
Just because, yeah. And I could understand like being like, no, we gotta get married before the kid gets here.
Yeah, like I didn't give a shit about optics or perception or anything. It was, is this what I want? Yeah. And is this what she wants?
I think that's a good thing to have, like, as you get, like, what you talked about, like, when you had your kind of, like, mid-relationship discussions.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have got married then, it's like, well, did we just get married because? But it's like, no.
Exactly.
We waited a year. We made sure this, we were right for each other, even though we knew, but we were young, and we decided, yes, we are deeply and madly in love with each other, and this is the next step of our relationship.
Exactly. And so then we got married. How old was I? So, yeah, we got married in 2001.
Okay. So 3 years before I met you, you guys were married. So what's that 3-year gap up to that point?
Oh, you mean like the 3 years between me getting married and me meeting you, the other love of my life?
Yeah. That's what this is all about. No, I mean, like, what's the next big thing? So you guys get married. That's a huge thing. I feel like that's kind of similar to like what Tiff and I did, is like we were living together. And then the marriage is just kind of like a seal of like officialness. So what's the next big event in your guys' relationship?
More kids.
More kids?
Yeah.
2 more kids?
So Amanda was pregnant with Richard right before or when we met.
That's right, yeah. And I think, was I the first person you told me about your third?
Maybe. I think so. That sounds right. Probably.
Like 06? 05?
Yeah. So there you go. So more kids, and now we're going on. It's going to be 18 years in August.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's we kind of thought we'd do these each in one episode, but I think we might split these up into 2. Kind of like have your ode to your wife, and then I could do my ode to my wife in the next episode. So what do you have any kind of like, what's some of the things you think about with your wife? Because a lot of times we, as people, we sit and we think, we're like, okay, like this is just the person I come home to, and you get kind of the minutia of the day to day. But like, if you had to sit right now and just think about like your wife and the relationship you guys have had for 18 years, like what's some stuff that comes to mind? Oh,
like, if you're asking me like, like when I first walk in, I guess like the thing that is the most is the thing that I love the most is the fact that the whole thing is comfortable. And I do not mean comfortable in like an old shoe kind of way. I mean comfortable in the sense that there's a whole support system. There's a whole, like, I don't have to think about, I don't have to think about where support's coming from, or where, like, who can I ask for help, or who, I don't have to think about any of these things. I don't have to think about, like, I love you, Shawn, but she's my best friend.
No, I totally get that.
And it's nice. It's so nice. It's so nice to, like even after 18 years, like I can sit and have I can find something new and different to talk about every single day. And that's awesome.
When you think like 18 years, like you think your teenage years and like your early 20s and even up through your 20s to your 30s, like there's a lot of like life changing, just personality changing things that you guys kind of go through that time period, like just people in general.
Well, that's the thing is like her and I have been together longer than we've been with our parents.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like living together and everything.
We've lived together more than we have. We've crossed that point now where we've lived together longer than we've lived at home. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And that was the other thing is like, you go through, we went through our late teens and entirety of our 20s and now into our 30s together. And so like, we've kind of grown up together, made mistakes together and all that awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's so great.
Like in earlier episodes, you've made the trek to California together with your family to try something different. It seems like you guys are really cool about like taking those kind of adventurous, like you guys bought a house together, you tried to rebuild it, you decided like, okay, that's not what we want to do. We're going to do this other thing, and you guys seem like you have that relationship of like, hey, why don't we try this?
Right, and actually, I said this today. I said, no matter what. Like I would totally 100% believe this. Like no matter what, like it'll be okay. Like no matter what happens, no matter what bullshit goes on, like it'll be okay. It'll be some degree of okay. Like I don't worry, I don't worry about any of that stuff at all because so far the experience has taught me that things will be okay. Because it's the two of us working together.
I haven't seen you guys interact too much. I mean, like in the sports bar, she'd come in a little bit. But it's kind of like our trip to Chicago, where I've really got to see you guys interact kind of in a more closed space kind of thing. And, seeing the support from her and stuff like that and seeing you guys together was something I hadn't seen too often.
Oh my God, she's so supportive when it comes to this.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just
more than me. Sometimes I'm like, oh no. She's like, no, you should. And I'm like, no, it'll be stupid. She's like, no, it'll definitely be stupid, but you should do it.
It's like, no, if you don't do this, what am I going to do on Sunday nights? I have to entertain your ass. So, I'll kind of leave this open to you then for the last few bits of this. So what kind of what things do you have that you would just want to get kind of out there on record on this episode for your wife?
It's been 18 years. I'm pretty. I think she's pretty well convinced.
No, not that.
That I'm in love with her.
I'm thinking like 20 years down the road when she comes back to this moment. When you've been thinking about her and gushing over your past for the last, hour.
Nobody's been more supportive. Nobody's been my biggest cheerleader more than her. And I have never been more appreciative. And I'm sure that I fail miserably when it comes to reciprocating that. But I wish the world would know how awesome she is. Because she is. And if you think I'm wrong, you got to fight me for it. Fight me about it.
Yeah, I know the times I see you guys together, it is really adorable to see you guys interact. I mean, I think we get in the minutia of life sometimes when we kind of like, but I mean, you guys have a super strong relationship. And
I love the fact that after 18 years that we can still like hang out and not want to kill each other.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were together up in Chicago, it felt like you guys were still like dating. You still had that like very like couple relationship, not like, oh, this is my old ball and chain. It was like, no, we're together in this. This is my, this is the person. I mean, we walked all the way to a Walgreens in like teen weather to pick stuff up. Like that's
we did.
That's something you do for somebody you care about.
And you came with me.
Yeah, because I care about you, Richard.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
But Richard, then, so I guess if you want to tidy up this, I guess the first half of our Valentine's Day episode, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
No, I think I said it all before. Like, it surprises me. I find it surprising every day, yet it's not surprising at all that after 18 years, well, more than 18 years, 19, almost 20 years, that I'm still with somebody that I want to be with. And I hope everybody finds that. I hope everybody finds that in their life because it's pretty dope. Not going to lie, it's pretty dope.
I love it. All right, Richard, as we're closing up the first half of this Valentine's Day special, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping.
You do that.
Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook and go out recruit somebody for the LB Army by getting someone you know. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify.
And when you're there, you should leave a rating and a review because those are super awesome. They help keep us relevant in things like search engines. So that way iTunes doesn't. So that way iTunes knows that we are not dead.
Yeah, and you can always find us part of the most romantic place on the internet, the Pod Bros Network.
The car sex of podcast websites, because you can have it anywhere.
Oh, I love it. All right, well, is there anything else before I close her out?
Love you, baby. You're the bestest.
All right, well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And we say I love you to your spouse.
That's right. No, I eat her beaver.